Welcome to the Game Exposed podcast, where Yaz gives you the scoop on dating, relationships, red flags, cheating, hot topics, or any kind of dating or relationship question you may have. I also want to tell you about the merchandise that we currently have available. T-shirts, hoodies, leggings, all comfortable stuff with cute sayings when you're hanging around in quarantine and you just want to put on a cozy hoodie and relax and watch a movie. So check out the link in the podcast description for all of the Game Exposed podcast merchandise. Hi, you guys. It's Yaz. And today I want to talk about attraction killers. What kills attraction for somebody, okay? And I'm going to go through a couple of things that turn people off. One of the things that turn people off is when somebody doesn't shut up in the conversation, okay? When somebody has a conversation with someone and they're dating that person and that person just talks the whole time about themselves. So if you're trying to get to know somebody, one of the worst things you can do in the beginning is talk about yourself the whole time on the phone or however you're getting to know somebody. Let the other person talk. You want the other person to talk. You want the other person to tell you things about them so you could evaluate who they are, where they've been, what their background is, and if they are a fit for you. But if you get on the phone and you start talking the whole time and telling them every little detail about your day, okay? Like I said before, you're going to bore them. There's going to be no reason for them to keep coming back because you already told them your whole life story. Another attraction killer is talking about your exes. When you talk about your ex too soon, that person may think that you're still stuck on your ex. And the other thing too is if you told this new person that you're talking to about your ex and how your ex screwed you over, they're going to try to pretend that they're not going to do that to you. So now you're giving them a heads up what they need to do in order to fool you, in order to win your heart over, because they think you've been through something. So you don't get into all that in the beginning, all right? Another attraction killer is if you get to a point where you're dating somebody and they come to your place and your place is a mess, that is an attraction killer. And a lot of people, they don't even think about this, but it's so true. I've heard this from a lot of men. A lot of men, when they were dating somebody, they would go to a woman's crib or their place and they said, she was messy. There were dishes in the sink. I look at that and I say to myself, if she can't take care of her place, how is she going to take care of herself? And that brings me to the next attraction killer. When you don't take care of yourself. And I don't mean that you have to be in perfect shape. When I say take care of yourself, I mean basically clean hair, clean nails. You have good personal hygiene when you meet the person, okay? Now, another attraction killer is when you're getting to know somebody and you text that person and that person doesn't reply to you, okay? Let's say they don't reply to you for a couple of hours and you keep texting them because you think, well, maybe something happened to them. Trust and believe, nothing happened to them. They got the text 99.9% of the time. So send your token text of whatever you're going to say, and if they don't respond, leave it alone. Leave it alone. We get this in the group all the time. We get these people that are either ghosted or somebody doesn't respond to their texts, and they're asking questions like, well, we were in this relationship for 2 years, and all of a sudden she ghosted on me, and I'm really worried something happened, and then she blocked me. Well, if she blocked you, then she was obviously playing you, okay? She obviously has somebody. She might have had a side guy. She might have had somebody on the side that you didn't even know about. So this guy was looking to text her. I was like, do not text her whatsoever. You need to walk away. She blocked you. Do not chase anybody, because when you chase anybody, your power goes down and they lose respect for you. And why would you want somebody who doesn't want you? I wouldn't want somebody that doesn't want me, okay? What kind of relationship do you think you're going to have? So that is a relationship killer when somebody hasn't responded to your text and you keep texting them and you think something happened and everything like that. They're fine. Trust me when I tell you, they're fine. And this gets into now the ghosting, all right? When somebody ghosts you, you don't bother with these people. You don't bother, okay? Because this is what they do. They rotate people. They have their options, or they're already in a relationship and you don't know about it. And what they'll do is they'll ghost you and they come back. And another problem that people do is that they take them back and they're, oh, what happened to you, this and that, and they go on and on and on, okay? I mean, you could hear what they have to say, but if it sounds like nonsense, 9 times out of 10, it's nonsense. You need to trust your gut, you guys. Now, another thing, well, this is more towards building attraction, is how somebody smells in the beginning, okay? A lot of men are attracted when a woman wears a nice fragrance. Now, wearing a nice fragrance is nice. It's enticing, but don't pour on the perfume or the cologne really strong. I had a friend of mine who went out with this guy. He was very into himself. He used to overload the cologne. The car was reeking of cologne when he got out of the car. And she's like, I can't even date him just because he stunk up my car, she said. Okay. So do not overload the cologne. Okay. Now, another relationship killer is when you move too fast with somebody. In the beginning, you want to move along. You want to see how they're moving along with everything. You should not be the one pushing it. Do not push too fast too soon. And this is what a lot of women do. They move too quickly. They'll date a guy a couple of times, and all of a sudden they want to know, what are we? What are we? All right? If somebody is not telling you what you are, then you are nothing. That's it. You are nothing. So you should not have to sit there and have to beg anybody, what are we? You just go about your business. You are dating that person. And if they haven't made it clear, then you date other people. If you want to ask them and you want to take a different approach to it, you could ask them, but it almost shows a sense of, you're more sweating the relationship than they are. You're more concerned in locking it down. So that's going to give them more power because they feel now you're all wrapped up in them. Okay. Now they know they got you. Now they know you got you. All right. And whenever you're dating somebody, whether it's women to men, men to woman, partner to partner, the thing is, in the beginning, you want to move slowly. Number one, for a lot of reasons, because you don't know who you're dealing with. And number two, you don't want to come off looking desperate. Nobody wants to look desperate. It's not a good look, you guys. Another attraction killer is don't talk about the last time you had sex. Now, the person that you're getting to know, they may ask you in the beginning, when was the last time you had sex? First of all, if they ask you something like that, then sex is on their mind. That's a red flag. That could be somebody who's only interested in you for purely sex. And it's none of their business when you had sex last, okay? So don't even get into any of those kind of questions in the beginning or, divulge your whole history. It's not their business. And you shouldn't be talking about that and letting people know your whole life story of, your whole sexual history and everything like that. That takes time when you get to know the person and you trust them and you can open up to them. Another attraction killer is talking about any kind of financial problems you have. Like, you don't want to bring up things to the effect of, I claimed bankruptcy last month, or, right now I'm having a hard time financially, paying my credit card bills or anything like that. In the beginning, that is an attraction killer. Now, some people might say, well, what's the big deal? What's the big deal? The big deal is that we're talking about this is in the beginning. You don't know that person well. It's none of their business, your financial situation. What they should be asking you about is your career, your family, things like that, along those lines. What you like to do, what are your career aspirations, things like that, you guys. So you want to promote the positive in yourself, not the negative. Because a lot of people, they get into conversations with people and right away, it's almost like they're talking to their therapist. They feel comfortable with the person and they start opening up right away and they start bringing up every negative thing that's going on in their life. And that is only going to turn somebody off. When you get into certain personal matters, such as finances, your sex life, and things like that, that is not brought up till later on when you get to know the person, okay? And the other thing is you don't want to bring up your financial situation because you could be dealing with a scammer as well. So it's none of their business, your financial situation. Never, ever discuss money with anybody. Another attraction killer is when you hang on the phone too long with somebody in the beginning. In other words, they always come on strong in the beginning. That's when their peak of interest is the highest. So when you go and you do the same thing and you hang on the phone with them and you're on the phone with them for hours and hours and hours and hours and you're showing that you have no life and everything like that, what you're showing that person is you are desperate. Believe me when I tell you, this is so true. Because a lot of times you can meet somebody, you think you're really hitting it off, and you're on the phone for hours the first week, and then all of a sudden that person disappears on you. Okay? Why do they disappear on you? Because you're like old reliable. They figure you have nothing else going on and you're going to hang on the phone for hours with them. So you don't want to come off as desperate. I mean, you want to be yourself, but you don't want to neglect the other things that you have to do in your life. If you have things that you have to take care of, whether it's your kids or your work or anything like that, be able to say, I have to take care of something and get off the phone, okay? Don't give your time to somebody until they earn that. They have to earn that trust. Because otherwise you're going to find yourself in a situation where you've talked to people too long in the beginning, and then all of a sudden this person just leaves, okay? Because why do they do that? They could do that for a lot of reasons, because they could be talking to other people, or they figure you're always going to be around because you're always on the phone with them for hours. So have your own life. Talk to somebody maybe, an hour a night or something like that. But don't be hanging on the phone for 5-6 hours, because then also it's going to move too fast and it's going to burn out fast. So, dating is a progression. You got to progress in your dating pattern when you move with someone. Now, when it comes to children, if you're somebody who has children, I am a firm believer that you be upfront in the beginning. If you have, 3 kids, 4 kids, 6 kids, you let that person know, okay? Because children are a package deal. And, I know people that have dated people and didn't even tell them they had kids. I know somebody that was dating a guy, and when he came over to pick her up, she said that those were her sister's kids, all right? True story. And she did that because she didn't want to kill the attraction, which was ridiculous, because she should have just been upfront and honest. And if he had a problem with the fact that she had kids, then he wasn't for her. He wasn't for her. But there's people that do that, you guys. So when it comes to children, be honest about your situation, whether you have kids and, what the situation is with that. Because if they care about you and they want to get to know you, they won't be turned off about it. So you don't want to hide something like that. Another thing that I want to bring up too is that a lot of people, they lie about their age. They lie about their age in the beginning. A lot of people on the online dating or the dating apps, they lie about their age. I think that it's better to be honest. And if somebody, has a problem with your age, then they're not for you. They're not for you, okay? You don't want to be something that you're not, because this person is going to see you eventually for who you are. So I never got why people do this. Why would somebody try to portray that there's something else when it's going to come out later on and that person can leave you? I knew somebody that did that. This woman that I knew, she lied about her age on when she met somebody. He ended up finding out about it after they were going out a while, and he left her. He just dumped her. So it's better just to be honest about it. If you feel that it's not going to attract certain people, then those people were not who you wanted. They were not for you. If somebody has a problem with age, they are not for you, okay? So I just wanted to bring up that little tidbit. Now, another attraction killer, you guys, when you meet the person, I've heard this a lot too. I've heard about women that go out on a date with somebody and the guy is eyeballing the waitress up and down, all right? Or he's checking out the other women in the restaurant or wherever they go out to eat. And you end up saying something about it, okay? The best thing to do in a situation like that is to make a mental note of it and see, everybody's entitled to look, but there's looking and there's gawking. So if you see that somebody, if their interest is not into you, 100%, and especially in the beginning when their interest is at their peak, that could be a red flag that they're not all into you. That, they have a wandering eye or something like that. So you got to be aware of that. You make a mental note of that. But you don't go and you don't question them, because they can look at whoever they want to look at. Because when you sit there and you question them and you say, what are you doing staring at that girl in the restaurant? Or why are you, staring at the waitress? What, do you like her better than me? That is an attraction killer. That is another sign of you're showing insecurity. You do not want to show insecurity whatsoever. If that person wants to look at somebody else, let them. But if they're not showing you the interest that they're trying to get to know you, and you feel like you're dealing with half a person there, then that person is not all in, and that is not somebody you should give a lot of time to. So be aware of that kind of situation. The other thing is, another attraction killer is when you go out with somebody, if you come off like angry or depressed. Now, sometimes you go out on a date and you don't even realize it. Maybe you had a bad day. Maybe things aren't going right. Maybe you were rushing, whatever it could be. this person is going to feed off you. They're going to be looking at you, not just how you look physically, but by your mood. What kind of mood are you in? Nobody wants to be with an angry or depressed or a sullen type of person. They want somebody that's going to lift them up and make them happy. So, you have to be aware of these things. You have to be aware of what kind of impression you give to the other person. You want to be pleasing. You want to have a happy attitude about it and be nice. So be aware of that. And another attraction killer that I want to bring up, this was happening during the elections, was if the person has a different political viewpoint than you do. Don't sit there and argue with the person, okay? Everybody is entitled to their own political viewpoint. You just say, well, we could agree to disagree. That's it. That's it, okay? If they want to sit there and they want to talk about whatever political affiliation, therefore, that's fine. That's their prerogative. That doesn't mean you have to agree with it. It doesn't mean that you argue with it. And sometimes it doesn't even pay to argue with these people because you're not going to get anywhere. So let them have their, however they feel about it, that's fine. And, if that's somebody that is totally not on the same page as you, that could be a red flag down the road. And if they can't be respectful of your views, that is another red flag. But you don't sit there and you don't argue it. You don't try to debate it. You don't try to show them how much smarter you are than them, because that is an attraction killer. Believe me when I tell you, all right? I have lost, this wasn't over dating, but I have lost a couple of friends over political debates. So sometimes it's better not to even go there if somebody is not, they're not on the same page with you politically. It's just something that you have to make a mental note of and decide if this is somebody that you could get along with, or if this person, if they do believe in different ideologies or have different values. First of all, that could be a problem down the road, but if they're respectful of you and your views, that's a different thing, okay? So I just wanted to point that out as well, as far as attraction killers, like when you go out and whether you're debating about politics or you're debating about anything, this is not, you're not in the courtroom. You're not there to sit there and debate them. You are there to get to know them on a personal level, to see their character and everything like that. Okay? Hi, you guys. It's Yaz. I want to tell you about my 2 books that are on Amazon. Okay? You can download them free with the trial membership from Kindle. The first book is Regain Your Power. If you're in a relationship and you feel like your partner has all the control in the relationship, maybe you're walking around on eggshells, you're afraid to approach them, it's going to tell you how to regain your power and be happy in the relationship, okay? And what you may be doing wrong, and that's why your partner has all the control in the relationship. The other book is Signs He's Not Into You, He's Wasting Your Time. There's a lot of people that are dating someone or in a relationship with somebody who's not really vested in the relationship. And we often are confused as to whether our partner really likes us or is into us or wants a future with us. And this book is going to give you signs and red flags of whether your partner is into you or he's just basically drifting and wasting your time. So go to Amazon and download the Kindle free trial membership. Doesn't cost you anything. And check it out. It may help you. Okay? And have a great day. Another thing that is an attraction killer is when you're talking to someone and you're getting to know them and you tell them about all the friends that you have. In other words, let's say you're a woman and you're talking to someone and you're, bringing up about your life and you bring up about how you have all these guy friends and you're always running to this guy friend or this homeboy and you're trying to, get dating and relationship advice and everything like that. And they're your best friend and you talk all the time. When you start to bring all that up and you're trying to get to know somebody might be intimidated by that. And it's the same thing if you're a guy. If you have a lot of female friends, okay, and you're bringing up all these kind of things about like, my friend here, she's so cool and everything like that. We talk every day and I go to her and I ask her opinion or her advice on something. If you're getting to know somebody and they hear that, they might feel a little threatened by that. And they might be jealous by that. They may be insecure by that. So there's nothing wrong with having friends. But the thing is, you want to bring the friends and all those kind of issues in later on, not in the beginning, because that may scare somebody away or intimidate somebody. Okay? And nobody wants to feel like when they're getting to know somebody, they're going to have to compete for that person's attention. Or that if they're trying to get to know somebody, that you may go and always run to that person and ask their opinion about your relationship with them. Okay? So I just wanted to bring that up. And it's the same thing with partner to partner. Another attraction killer, you guys, is if you're somebody who's big on social media. Let's say you have a huge following on Instagram or Facebook, or you have an OnlyFans or anything like that. I would not bring that up in the beginning when you're starting to date somebody. Because number one, they're going to prejudge you. A lot of times they prejudge you. If you're a female and you have a lot of male followers, a lot of men are going to feel insecure with that. They're going to think that you're talking to these guys or you have all these other guys that are hitting on you, and they could feel threatened by that. Okay, so you want to bring that up later on. You could talk about, your following, and the same thing with the OnlyFans. Now, we know OnlyFans is not just about, having an adult site. A lot of times I know people that have OnlyFans that don't do any kind of nudity whatsoever. There's people that do OnlyFans for feet. I know a girl who's got an OnlyFans. This girl has so many followers and she doesn't do any nudity whatsoever, but she posts sexy pictures, but no nudity. And when she used to, date somebody and tell them about it, a lot of these guys would be intimidated by it. And already they were judging her before they even got to know her. So that's why I'm telling you, don't bring those kind of things up in the beginning. Let somebody get to know you and see you, who you are as a person before you start bringing that up. Because the other thing with the OnlyFans is a lot of times if you tell them you have an OnlyFans, they're going to think like, you're right. Some people think right away it's a sexual OnlyFans and that you're selling naked pictures. And they may say to themselves, okay, well, now I'm going to put her in a different category. She's not the girlfriend relationship type. She is somebody I could have fun with. She's got an OnlyFans, so she's selling her pictures and stuff like that. That's not somebody that I would want to be in a relationship with if she's showing those kind of pictures to other guys and stuff like that. So don't bring that kind of stuff up in the beginning. If that's what you're doing and that's your side hustle, that's all fine. But let somebody get to know you as a person, your personality, the things that you like to do before you bring in these other things. And lastly, one of the things that is probably the biggest attraction killer is low self-esteem. So, people can sense that. And you show low self-esteem when you ask questions like, do I look okay tonight? Is this outfit okay? Do I look fat? You don't need to ask somebody else for their validation because you're validated by yourself. You are self-validated. You don't need to ask somebody else how you look, okay? Because you know yourself, who you are. So when you date, you don't want to show that you have low self-esteem, because you're going to come off, they're going to look at you and they're going to, it's an attraction killer when they see somebody that doesn't believe in themselves. I've seen women that were not the greatest looking women in the world, but they had so much self-esteem and they had so many friends and they dated, really good guys and everything like that. And they were attracted to them, not so much because of how they looked, but by how much self-esteem and how much personality they had. They didn't need that validation. So, don't go asking people questions, to validate yourself. That will be an attraction killer. Okay? I hope that helps you. And if it did, please hit the subscribe button and share, and have a great day.